after I graduated from J School at Carleton University, and my first job was with the Aboriginal People's Television Network. That was a real roller coaster ride because we were building this network. The network didn't exist. We get a broadcast license. We end up launching this national Aboriginal TV network. So that was quite stressful, but really interesting. And so it's really hard after that to figure out, what kind of work you want to do, because after, APTN, after the honeymoon and APTN's all launched, they moved their offices from Ottawa to Winnipeg. And so of course I'm here in Ottawa, and I decided not to move to Winnipeg. So I had to really think, what do I really want to do now with the rest of my career? It's really hard to try and go work for someone else or work somewhere else that's not trying to build something new, because I think I had the bug. I think I really was excited about that idea of starting something new. And I had these skills that I got while working at APTN in communications, and found that I could probably use those skills for other clients per se. So I basically just went out and launched my own consulting company. And so I called it Debway Communications, and Debway is a derivative of an Ojibwe word that means the one who speaks the truth. So it was about a true portrayal, true communication, about Aboriginal people into the mainstream, and helping Aboriginal communities and organizations communicate their message to the mainstream. So it was kind of a bridge between the two. And that was it. I was just off and running and sort of running my own business from there. The company that I run now, as you said earlier, Margaret, it's called Stone Circle Consulting. And we took a long time trying to come up with a name, because to me, again, I'm being a wordsmith and a journalism graduate, and words are important to me. And it was important to convey a message in the name of the company as well. I mean, some people just have their own consulting company and they go by their name. That's fine, Joe Smith Consulting, that's fine too. But I was trying to send a different kind of message. We really, the stone and the circle and the imagery that sort of comes with that sort of speaks to, different Aboriginal contexts, and it could mean a lot of different things to different people, but the word itself and the name sort of gets out there, and it sticks in their mind, right? And then they'll remember, and they'll be like, oh yeah, Stone Circle, I've heard about them. You sort of have a bit of a corporate image that you build upon with your, you build your relationships and your reputation. First of all, it was just me. When I had Debway, it was just me, but I called myself Debway Communications Inc. and got cards, and I pretended that I was a lot bigger than I was, because then I could get, you kind of build a kind of credibility, right? By having that kind of presence and a name. You sort of have a bit of a corporate image that you build upon with your, you build your relationships and your reputation. But Stone Circle is really me, and then I hired one other person, two little people in two little offices. But sometimes you got to build a bit of an image so that people feel confident that when they hire you, they're getting a sort of package, right, and not just some person in their basement. We have a very interesting business model, because when I had Debway Communications, I was my own boss. I ran everything. I was the president and CEO and vice president. I was everything. And then I was approached by another consulting company, actually based here in Ottawa, doing management consulting in First Nation and Inuit communities, called Concilium. So the Concilium Consulting Group approached me and another Aboriginal woman here in Ottawa and asked if we would form a new company of which we would hold the majority and Concilium would hold the minority. So then we would be considered an Aboriginal business, but we have the backing and the opportunities and the administrative support of Concilium. And I really liked that approach, because I really do believe in collaboration, and I really like when we get to work together on things. It was hard. I mean, 5 years, like I say, working in my basement, you kind of get a bit lonely, right? And it's nice to bounce ideas off people and have opportunities to work with other people. I don't have any regrets about it. It's not an easy choice to make, because especially when you start out, you're using your own sort of financing or whatever little you have, and you often sort of have to go into debt for it, and that's kind of a scary thing, and you don't know if you'll ever get out of it. So I knew that there was a chance it wouldn't work, but the flexibility of it just kept me coming back. Entrepreneurship is more about an attitude, more about a personality. I just want to be my own boss. I could not picture any job, if someone said to me, any job in the world, what job would you want to have? I just really couldn't think of a job that allowed me the kind of sort of flexibility and creativity that I could have by running my own business, and that's why I did it. I can't say enough about the support that I got from Aboriginal Business Canada when I started as a youth entrepreneur. They had lots of funding opportunities. Like, they paid for my computer and my fax machine and my post office box and my business cards. Like, so they really gave me a lot of support. And so as an Aboriginal entrepreneur, there is support out there. And if you're on reserve, I mean, your economic development office, there are opportunities as well there for, to have a bit of funding to help you to sort of get started. So you don't have to do it cold. And that made all the difference for me too. For me, time management is more about balance. When I was growing up, that's the one thing that my dad taught me, sort of from a sort of that cultural sort of base, is, we're all taught that we have 4 parts of our being, right? The mental and the spiritual and the physical and the emotional. And all those 4 parts have to be fed, and they all have to be fed equally. And if not, then your life is out of balance. And it doesn't matter how many more hours you get in a day, if you can't balance those 4 pieces, you're always going to never feel like you're on top of things. And so I try to remember that, and I try to remember that my life is not work, my life is not my children, my life is not television, my life, like, these are parts of my life, but I need to make them fit together, and they need to be in proportion. In the future, where do you see yourself? What do you want to accomplish? Like, do you have goals? Do you have dreams? Do you have things that you want to do? And if you do, that means you better make a step towards doing them today. I think potential exists out there everywhere, and everybody has the potential to do anything. But everybody's given certain gifts that you're born with, or that you feel a passion to pursue or to build up. And I think everybody has to figure out what that is for themselves. I didn't grow up saying, I want to be a consultant, but it turns out that consulting fulfills me in a way that no other job really has. But I didn't know that until I started to get into it, and sometimes go out on a limb and say, this sounds interesting, I'm gonna go that way. And sometimes we have dead ends, you go a certain direction, you think, ooh, definitely that is not for me, and you have to change. And sometimes for some people that's a dramatic change. I had a friend who was a journalist who became a teacher, right? Or a doctor who became a lawyer. Like, so there's sometimes dramatic changes. But I think you just have to listen to yourself. You really have to know who you are, and you have to say, this is what I'm passionate about. Someone said to me once, think about those times when you spent 2, 3, 4, 5 hours doing one thing, and when you looked up and you said, where'd that time go? That's what you love. How can you make a living out of that?